And a very good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you might be in the world. Welcome to the Synth Network live show. It's episode 125, I think. And we are here coming to you live from the UK in its entirety. Everyone here is UK based today, and we'll come to our guests in just a moment. But before I do, as always, just need to get all the housekeeping stuff out of the way. So welcome to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining, and please feel free to bombard us with comments and questions. If you're watching on catch up, please do comment in the section below underneath the video. That would be fantastic. If you can, please, if you haven't already, like the show, comment, subscribe it, share it around. We love to be passed around the community. I mean that in the nicest possible way. Obviously, it's a little bit different for Kent. If you want to keep us going on the air, we rely completely on your contributions. It helps us do this show as professionally as possible. That's a word that we don't use often. So if you wouldn't mind, if you'd like to donate, if you think we're worth donating, then you can do. There's the link on the screen. And of course, it's down below in the description of the video. You can also use YouTube's, I was about to say PayPal's, YouTube's own Super Chat, Super Stickers stuff. It's underneath the chat box. When you're watching live, you can just hit that and donate a few pennies. That'd be super grateful for that. And of course, if you're watching on catch up, underneath the video there's a little button that says thanks, and you can donate that way. I think we actually had one of our first thanks donations from Ranzi just the other day. So Ranzi, if you're watching, mate, nice one, mate. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your help and your support. And of course, Ranzi's show is on tomorrow, which I think kicks off at 1 p.m. UK time. He does a lot of similar stuff, but more kind of an in-depth look at technology and techniques and all that kind of thing. So 1 p.m. UK time for that. Also, you can get in touch with us over on Twitter and, of course, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. All of those bases are covered. And if you have any questions tonight for our special guest, who we'll be speaking to in just a moment, just stick a big capital Q in front of it in the chat, and that just helps us old men with bad eyesight pick it out easier and put it into the right place so we can get to it and not forget you. You might notice that I'm looking maybe a little bit clearer, and I've just realised now that having a better camera, I do need to now shave before every show, because before it was a little bit more distant and a little blurrier, and it just kind of maybe looked like a bit of shadow. Now you can see that I'm really unkempt, so I do apologise, but I hope that you're enjoying the new visuals and seeing me in crystal clear 1080p or 4K. I can't remember which. I think I'm going in at 4K. But
little anyway. Face cream wouldn't go amiss either.
I know, yes, well, what can you say? And I need to get the angle sorted, so I also want to say that I'm going to be doing a lot of this, because right now my camera is in front of my computer, and I've had to rearrange everything to try and make it so that I don't deviate my eye line too much. So I apologise if I sort of look like I'm looking over there, which I kind of am, but that's where I should be looking there. So I'll try and do my best to be a professional TV person. Anyway, that's enough about that rubbish. Let's bring in, first of all, before we meet our wonderful guest, who I'm super excited about having on the show, let's go up to the north of England. He is the musical director, I think is probably the best title, of one of the UK's leading 80s tribute acts. I don't know if that's an insulting term.
It's fine, yeah.
It's fine by you? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Ben Simpson, how are you,
Hello.
sir?
I'm great, thank you. Very good. Thanks
stuff.
for that nice intro as well. It's
more than welcome.
Yeah, very
busy.
Nice. Yeah, we did a cracking gig at the weekend. After we did the Heaven 17 one on the Friday, we had a few days off, and we went to what was it called?
It was that good.
We went to 11 in Stoke-on-Trent.
What is that? Like Spinal Tap, you went to 11?
Yeah. Well, I think we did. Yeah, it was a really good gig. Loads of people turned up, and it was. We haven't really got a following as far as we knew in Stoke-on-Trent, so we went there and was really surprised because it was packed and there was only us on. So it was like, yes,
wow,
Nice one. And apart from that, I've been nerding it out, setting all my studio up. I've been drawing all these little graphics of everything.
I noticed,
for some bizarre reason. And that gives me the motivation to then go into the MIDI manager, use that graphic for that piece of equipment and get it all set up properly. And then, so I've been doing that with all the gear. It's really nerdy. It's totally useless and procrastination at its best, but I've been enjoying myself. So
are you one of these people that tears down their studio just for the hell of putting it all back together again?
Well, I tear it down with good intentions, and then everything sits there, and I end up using software because I'm too lazy to put it all back together. So
like
I've been using
JD800 at the back.
I've been using software for quite a while now, and I'm getting a little bit bored of it, and want to get back into every piece of hardware I plug in. It's like I draw my little graphic for it, plug it in, set it up, and think, wow. Why haven't I been using this? This is the best sounding thing I've got, and I'm getting that every time I plug something in. So
I actually find that with stuff. If I stop using it for a little while and then go back to it, it's like, oh wow, why wasn't I using it? Why haven't I had this plugged in? Like the S6000 the other week, I sort of plugged it all back in. I was like, oh, I love this thing. It'll be something else in a few weeks' time. I'm sure.
Even things like the motif, which is not that awe-inspiring. The quality of the sounds and the converters and that are just really nice, and it's got a much richer sound for me than using an equivalent VST. Yeah, at the moment, that's the way I'm thinking. Anyway,
we've got some
changes.
Indeed, we've got some interesting stuff coming up in the news about Yamaha and new stuff. So it might be interesting to sort of keep that in mind. Let's go across to the west of the Greater London area, in the very posh. Is it Esher? No, it's not Esher, is it? Oh, I can't remember. Epsom.
Noah.
Epsom. I knew it was one. It's Noah.
Mr. Bond, we meet again. What's wrong with this guy? Yeah.
Bless his
how are you, darlings?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very sugared up on.
You still eating the dolly mixtures?
Yeah. Come on. I bought 5 kilos of them.
Oh Jesus! Is this after you bought your care package with Ty?
They may be linked.
They may be linked. I thought as well.
I was on the page. Yeah.
So you had to. It would have been rude not to.
Yeah. Well,
indeed. How's have you been busy? How's life with you?
God, yeah. Lots of different projects going on. We're into a much deeper stage now of the MIDI control and breakout box for the Oberheim 4 voice. So if you own an Oberheim 4 or 8 or 2 voice and you fancy having your computer doing a lot of crap to it, stay tuned.
Ooh, excellent. Well, we expect an exclusive on that. Okay.
Oh, go on then.
Bye, Noah.
Sorry. Well,
I like the way the camera follows Noah.
Yeah. Well, he's far more interesting.
He's the star of the show.
But before we come to our esteemed guest tonight, I just need to ask, how is Siri and how is Charlie?
Well, they were a push me pull you this morning.
Oh no.
Yeah. So.
Oh. For those that don't know, Siri is going through that time of I don't know how far apart are these seasons.
4 times a year.
Yeah. Normally they're 6 months apart. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Normally it's twice a year normally. So, but she has been pretty dormant for about 1.5 years. So, God, is she making up for it?
Yeah. So anyway, that's the ProSynth Network. Come here for technological discussion about synthesizers, and now we talk about dogs' reproductive cycles and all that kind of thing.
The home of dog porn.
Oh no! Stop it! You'll get us blocked. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. We need to speak to our guest. I've been wanting to get this gentleman on for a very long time, and I'm just beyond excited. I'm a big fan myself, so I will go all fangirl on you all. He is the creator of one of my favourite albums of all time, which is 20 Systems. If you are a synth nerd and you don't have this in your collection, you don't qualify to own that term, synth nerd, because this is a genuine synth nerd's paradise. It's lovely, especially the physical edition, but the digital edition is still available. I'll put a link up just a little while. He is known for working with all sorts of people, from Blancmange to I Speak Machine with Terra and Math, who we had on the show a short while back, and a whole bunch of other people that I'm sure we'll discuss over the next hour or so. He's an artist in his own right as well, and he is also behind the fantastic Meme Tune TV show on YouTube, on his Zach Dagobah YouTube channel. It is the one and the only. Benge, welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
And are we seeing you in Meme Tune Studios?
Yes, this is the central hub.
It's not a fancy Zoom background or anything. That's the real deal.
Yeah, it's all
Look at
all
that.
there. It's not actually switched on properly at the moment.
Well, given the news today about electricity prices,
Exactly.
I don't blame you.
Yes.
I don't blame you. That's going to be crazy. Oh, what a fantastic backdrop you got there. So, Benge, how are you, and what have you been up to lately?
Yeah, I'm good. I went to France 2 weeks ago to see my dad, who lives down there, and
Nice.
so I've been doing a little bit of summer holidaying and sort of traveling, but generally been very busy making the TV show, which I kind of try and do one a month at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're extremely time consuming, so
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing. But also, yeah, I mean, there's always so many things going on here. I've got gigs coming up and albums going on and all the stuff, all the normal stuff.
Because you're supporting Blancmange, aren't you? As
Yeah.
part of your, is it Oblong?
Yeah, the first half of the tour, I'm going out with Oblong, a band, a couple of friends of mine, and me doing. It's kind of synthy, funky stuff.
Cool.
Yacht funk, or someone called it.
Nice.
But basically, and then the second half of the tour, I'm going out with Stephen Malinder to
Oh, yes.
support him. Well, it's just me and him basically doing support for Blancmange there with that.
And what's the? Is there a title for that act?
It's Stephen Malinder because
Oh,
he's
it's just right.
yeah. I mean, basically, I've just done his it's his third solo album.
Mhm.
He did one in the mid '80s, and then he waited until last year to do the second one, which we did. We did it here, and then we did the third one again. Yeah, at the end of last year. So we're sort of promoting that and enjoying doing that. Really, it's great fun doing that.
Yeah, I was just I was reading about that.
There he is, the man himself.
Yeah, it was a couple of months ago on Electronic Sound. Fine. It's one of those magazines that you can. It's multi-sensory. Oh,
It is,
love it.
yeah.
But yeah, good article in there, and it came with a 7-inch record.
Yeah,
Of Stephen's work.
it smells of Stephen, that one.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
wow.
that's how he smells.
Wow.
Fantastic. So, loads of places we could possibly start, but I'm going to go in with the TV show, if I may, to start with, because that's kind of current and is has caught a lot of attention, particularly mine. Tell us a little bit about why you're doing it, what's behind it. Just give us a.
Well, I kind of wanted to. I've had a YouTube channel for years, like 10 years or something, and I tend to just sort of put up little synth sketches and stuff I do around the studio, little clips, stuff like little demos and things. But I've never done any kind of presenting a proper program or doing any talking on those. It's just a kind of collection of sketches, and I just felt over the last sort of year or so, I just felt I wanted to take it a bit more seriously and try and do something a bit more ambitious, really. And I love working here in the studio, and I've really got into doing work with video and old video gear and film, not film as in film, but cameras and lenses and lighting and all that side of it's really kind of got me excited, and I've kind of ploughed it all into this program to try and make a kind of statement about the studio and about the work I do and the gear that I love and my passions, really.
Yeah, well, it's also done with a sense of fun in there as well. There's elements which there's little tongue-in-cheek moments, some clever, funny bits. there was one bit in particular I remember where you'll tell me the technique, I'm sure, but I have no idea, where you're putting an outline around certain images on screen, and you were doing it around certain keyboards, and when it came to Rick Wakeman, you did it around his hair, which I just thought was a lovely subtle thing. It was just brilliant. I mean, is that, you know, intentional, that you want to have fun with this?
Definitely. It's kind of I just do it to amuse myself, I suppose. It's just like I'm sitting there for days on end, sort of editing and creating this program, and I just want to keep it fun, you know, for myself. So I just put in little jokes and little Easter eggs and things all the way through it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not. Sorry.
So do you make yourself chuckle when you're in the editing process?
I do. I actually, it's because I have to keep watching it and rewatching it again and again just while I'm editing. And if there wasn't anything in there to kind of amuse me, I don't think I could cope.
Absolutely. So tell us a bit about the video gear, because I mean that's something that is really super interesting, because you've got a lot of old vintage video mixing and processing devices, and you know there's a section in the program where you dedicate to, you know, different techniques where you show feedback and all this kind of thing. And where did that all come from in terms of your interest in that?
I suppose it's I've got a general interest in that period of equipment. I mean, my studio is basically, it sort of ends in about 1993. You know, there's nothing apart from my MacBook. There's nothing more kind of recent than that. So I'm fascinated with that kind of era of equipment. And the second great thing about video and TV gear is that it's really cheap still to buy.
All right.
Compared to music gear, which it used to be cheap to buy old gear. You know, I bought my CS80 for like $600.
Wow.
So, and Kent will remember that because he fixed it when it arrived. So, but video gear is still fairly cheap, and you know, people are clearing out old studios and going over to digital stuff or streaming stuff, and they're just clearing out their old gear, and you can pick it up on eBay or on there's a website that just sells like broadcast stuff, and it's pretty good. And so, you know, I got this old video. The first thing I got was like a Panasonic video mixer with 4 inputs, and you can sort of switch between things, and it's got really crude effects in it, and it was made in about, I suppose, the early 80s or something, and I got it for like 80 quid or something, and it was a real punt. But the thing is, it worked perfectly, and I just got so excited when I kind of realized what it could actually do and how it looked. And actually the other interesting thing for me is that it's really hard to fake vintage video with modern stuff. Plugins and things just don't look right. And I'm quite a purist in the studio as well with music stuff. I kind of, obviously I've got a load of old gear, and I do think it sounds different to kind of plugins. So anyway, with video gear, it's even harder, I think, to kind of to fake, like especially things like feedback and lighting. Like on an old video camera, for example, they've got these tube recording sort of lenses in them, and when you go past the light with it, it leaves this kind of trail of light that kind of follows it around. And I'm pretty sure you can't do that you can't fake that effect. It's impossible to do. So I sort of got some old video cameras and things like that to kind of get that effect and try out different things, and it all really just excited me. So I decided it kind of all fell together in terms of making the TV program, and put all this sort of this passion that I've got for this old gear and make it into something real, which is a kind of TV show.
And what I like about it is that there is a definitive structure to each episode. So there are there are sections. It's, you know, I've compared it to the sort of technology programs you used to get on the BBC or BBC Two late at night on BBC Two or something, and they would have, you know, all of those what were state of the art graphics, and that slightly quirky presentation style, but so deeply interesting. And I love the way that, you know, you've got these recurring parts, you know, like the the analog synths and then the digital synths, and you're going through them and explaining, and then you put up on screen the text as what it is and everything. It's super informative, as well as being fun and not like anything else that's really out there.
Yeah, I mean the reason it's in sections is because I'm doing it all myself, sort of on my own. So I sort of decided to break it down into sections so that it was easier to kind of get my head around. And so I filmed, for example, there's a section called Patching Today, which is a modular synth, and then I start a patch and show you how to patch like one sort of patch on it. And I kind of shot all those in one go at the beginning. That's what I started with. So, and then there's another section called Synthesizer Club, which is like a sort of just a little performance on a synth or two, like an actual piece of music. So I kind of shot most of those in one go as well. So it was broken down into sort of more manageable sections, and then I put them all together. And the other thing is that I decided just to make 6 episodes. I've done 5 so far. I'm working on the last one now for this sort of first series, because it's so much. It is such an amount of work to do. It's kind of taken me. It takes about 3 weeks probably to do each one.
Wow.
So,
I was going to ask you, because when you put episode 5 out a couple of weeks ago, it said the penultimate episode. And I thought, what? Please let there be more.
There will be more. There'll be more series to come. I'm just having to have a break from series 1. You know.
Yes.
Let's do it like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the way TV works in seasons. So season 1 in the bag, and really looking forward to it. So I mean, if anybody hasn't seen this, Zach Dagbert is the name of the channel. I think Ben has just put a link up in the chat. So go and bookmark that and go and watch it and like it and subscribe to it. It's huge fun and it's super informative. I have to say, I've never seen an ARP 2500, and I think there's a lot of people that can probably relate to that. So therefore, I've never seen anybody patch an ARP 2500, and to see you do that and have it all explained so brilliantly well, and then for that, to hear that sound, it was just brilliant. And I'm not really a modular person, and I was fascinated by that, and I've watched that multiple times, as well as all the bits that sort of push my buttons. So well done on that. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So musically, where did it all start for you? Because I mean, I've known your name for years and years and years, and you've clearly amassed a collection over a great length of time. Where did it all start for you with electronic music or music in general?
I started when I was really little, actually, because my parents ran a school for autistic kids, and they had like this music, and it was in the house. So like half the house was like a school. And they had this music room, and in the music room was like a sort of electric organ, some like percussion, like just classroom instruments. But there was this one amazing thing, which was like this guy had built this modular synth, and this was in the early mid 70s probably. He'd built this little modular synth, which was like about that big, and it had banana connectors. And it had like 2 VCOs and even had a little patch player, I think, like a pin matrix. It was like a sort of homemade thing.
Okay.
And that, I used to play on that when I was like 10.
Wow.
And I'd play on the organ, and I just loved it. They even had like a little, like a reel-to-reel I think it's like a Tascam, TIAC 4-track thing. So I kind of would just spend my evenings in there and just sort of play with that gear for years and years, and then I went to like college, and I went to art college, studied sort of painting and stuff, and then I just sort of, after I did that, I kind of came back and I asked my dad, I said, where's that modular synth we used to have, what, is that anywhere? And he said, oh, I threw that out last week, because apparently it'd been up in the loft, and it had this massive battery in it. You couldn't plug it in. It worked from like one of those big giant batteries.
Oh yeah.
And the battery had leaked, and my dad had just chucked it out. And that was the sort of day that I was like, right, I'm going to buy every single synth now I ever see. and never sell one.
Clearly.
that was my plan. I had this sort of plan, really, like just to buy old synths that people, and not just buy. I mean, people were chucking stuff away back then.
Yeah.
And I collected gear that people didn't want, really.
Yeah.
And I decided I'd never sell anything. And
So,
I sort of stuck to that pretty much.
when did it become a career? How did that happen?
Well, in the early 2000s, I'd sort of moved. I had a home studio where I had it literally in my front room, and all my gear, and I was making my own albums and things like that, and doing my own music. And then I actually moved my studio out of my home and into a little basement in Soho, which Museum Street, which is just sort of near the British Museum. And I started making music there in the studio rather than at home. And I had a few friends that were, by then I was getting a bit, like I was in my sort of mid to late 20s, and a few of my friends were working in media, working in TV companies and things, and they'd asked me to do bits of music for them. This was the days before you could basically make TV music just with like a laptop. You had to actually have a studio to do it. So I would just make music for friends and stuff, but get paid occasionally for it. And then that kind of grew and grew. And I kind of took on a few people, to help me make music and do some stuff. And then we got some really, really amazing gigs, basically, which were doing TV jingles and doing channel idents and channel branding music. And this was in the mid 2000s, so about 2006 or 7 or something like that. We landed like the holy grail job, basically, which was it might have been a bit earlier than that. It was when ITV kind of rebranded and got a national brand.
Yeah.
Like before that, they'd all been sort of localized, like Granada,
Regional, weren't they?
Yeah, regional. And they went, at one point they went national, and they wanted like a whole set of idents done for this rebrand. And the company that was doing it, the music they'd done was just so bad, apparently. And I had a friend, literally a friend of mine, worked in ITV and was like, "Oh, we're going to air like in 2 days' time, and we've rejected all the music they've given us. Like, I've heard that you kind of do that sort of thing. Can you come up with something?" So we did this little jingle, like a 10-second. It's literally like a 4-note ident thing, and they loved it. So that got used basically for ITV for like 6 years or something crazy, and it was like amazing because it went out between every single program. So we would get a royalty for like every time it was played for years and years. It was fantastic. So and obviously at the time I thought, right, this is it, I'm kind of like sorted forever, and that's what it's going to be like now. I'll just be doing that forever. But actually it didn't really work like that. It kind of it kind of, the industry changed a bit. You could, a lot of music for TV and stuff could just be made in-house because people can make that music on a laptop really now. You don't need studios anymore. So it didn't last very long, but it's brilliant when it did last. And I set up my studio properly then, and I set up my record label then, took on staff, and ran a whole kind of little empire for a couple of years. It's great.
So the label's Expanding Records, isn't it?
Yeah, Expanding Records. And we used to, I mean, I don't know, people struggle now to sell CDs and records and things, but we had like 20 artists at one point from all over the world, just like, doing this crazy like electronica music that is really no one sort of knows about. It's really underground. But it was good because what I did is set this, one company was called Exploding Music, which was the commercial stuff. And that kind of supported and paid for Expanding Records, which was the more experimental stuff. And I didn't really want to do record label stuff and make any compromises with it. I wanted to always just keep that as pure as possible.
Yeah.
So I really set the commercial thing up to kind of fund that.
So has it been a conscious decision on your part to always, you always seem to be in the background, you're working with lots of other people in the background rather than pushing yourself up as the star, shall we say? Is that a conscious decision? Do you prefer to be behind the scenes and sort of anonymous, or?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not a front man. I'm not ever wanted to be like that. I kind of, I'm happy enough to be working, not in the background. I'd like people to kind of know what I do.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't necessarily want to be kind of fronting anything or being.
Sure.
And I'm not very good at self-promotion. You know, I never have been. I kind of, I just like making music and making the creative side of it.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly discovered you just because of association with other people, and seeing your name come up on. Oh, well, this guy is on that, and he's on this, and this going. Do my own sort of research into that. Ben, this is our Ben. Have we got any questions to throw from the chat at all?
I have seen a couple. It's going back to the show again, Benge. It's based on, this is from I Sing the Body Electric. Based on your slow and stylized delivery of the script, is this based on any particular previous show?
That's a good one. I don't know. I think I'd have to probably say Open University.
Yeah, that's what I
used to watch them when they were on. You know, they used to put it on during the night here in the UK back in the day, and you'd always you'd turn it on and there'd be some random bloke talking about nuclear physics or something, and they were so weird. Some of them were really creepy. You know, they were like creepy men with like weird moustaches, and that's what I'm aiming at.
Yeah.
I'm really
brilliant.
So I think, the other thing is, in terms of, I used to love this show called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was a kind of BBC production in the 80s, and that was all interspersed with these little computerized animations. Although I found out they weren't actually done on a computer; they were hand drawn.
Wow. Yeah.
But they all look like they're sort of futuristic for 1980 or whatever, computer imagery, and that kind of inspired a lot of the look of what I do, I suppose, in this series.
Anything else, Ben?
Oh, sorry, I was just
come on, keep up,
struggling with my alcohol consumption here. This is, again, how many of the synths in your studio hasn't Kent worked on?
Hasn't Kent?
Well, Kent was, back in the day when I lived in London, I was at Kent's house more than I was at, my parents' house or my girlfriend's house. And there was a lot of stuff there, always coming and going. I mean, that's the weird thing that's the difficult thing about loving old gear, is that, half the time you kind of, it's not with you. It's around at Kent's.
Clattering my place up.
So I think he's done. Every synth until I moved, he pretty much had virtually everything down there. But obviously, I moved away from London about 8 years ago, and I haven't. I can't really do a 5-hour journey with like a CS80 in the back of the car, unfortunately. But he did work on my CS80, and he worked on I've got this weird synth called a EMS Polysynthi.
Oh God, yes.
Do you remember that, Kent? That was.
Oh, how could I forget that bloody thing?
That thing, right? It had been transported, I think, and the power supply had broken away, and it had just sort of smashed the inside of it up, and then it also has these really weird little connectors on the keyboard, didn't it? You had to kind of like re-glue every single key connector, and that sort of thing. It was a horrible job, but got it going. Still going strong, that thing.
We got that 2500 going as well.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you've had
You
that.
bought, you bought that from, was it Don Larkin or something?
I
wasn't
bought
it?
it off Don Larkin. That was a weird one because he had two of them.
Yeah.
He had two of them, I saw it advertised on his. He had a thing called Larkin's List, which I think is still going. Actually.
Yeah,
I think it still goes, yeah.
And
I've had stuff of that.
he's a right laugh, Don. He's really, really funny. And I went up to meet him and to his sort of his warehouse place, and he had two of them sitting there. They were pretty much identical, I think. And I could only afford one of them, although it wasn't very much money. It was kind of under $5,000, I think. But there's a lot of money.
It's 3.5. It's about 3.5, I think it was.
It was something like that, yeah. And
Wow.
I mean, it was a hell of a lot of money to me at the time. But
Oh Christ, yeah.
if I'd been able to, but the thing is that, so I only bought one of them, and then the next day, Don called me and said, "Oh, I've got Hans Zimmer on the phone. He wants to buy both of them. Would you sell me it back?" And I was like, "Nah, sorry, mate."
Damn right.
Because I had the other one here as well. It came down about
Oh,
the same
did you?
time. Yeah.
Did Hans buy the other one?
No. He ended up buying another massive bloody system, but it was in
Right.
much worse condition.
Right. Okay.
It was some guy. I think it was some guy in Switzerland or Sweden or one of the S countries. Bought the other one, and he bought it to me to get it done as well.
That's amazing.
Oh, okay. So both of them up on the bench.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah.
So that must have been 2007 or something like that. I think 2000.
Something like I think.
Yeah.
We just about got the new workshop up. Well, what was the new workshop then?
Yeah.
Yeah. around about
So
that time.
when I went to Don's to pick it up, I always do this whenever I go and get a synth or someone. I always sort of ask, "Oh, have you got anything else sort of hidden away?" I've got millions of really good deals that way because people go, "Oh yeah, I think I've got this sequential circuits T8 in the shed. I can have a look." Anyway, he literally said, "Yeah, I've got these. I've got two of these other little synths here." He had two 4 voices, Oberheim 4 voices,
Yeah.
and they were, I think, 600 quid each or 700 quid each. So I bought one of them. Again, I couldn't afford to get both of them. I wish I had done, but so I ended up buying that on. That was just like a random thing that I just had to get suddenly on the day. But because he doesn't normally sell synths, he'd done a studio clear out basically, and they had all these synths in there that time. But
Yeah.
I don't think he really knew what they were.
I've had I think I got my TX81Z off of Don. 75 quid.
Oh right, yeah. He's not a synth guy, but he's a mixing desk guy. He's amazing. He's brilliant at that side of it and
absolutely.
studio gear. But
Yeah. Good old Don
but those were
Larkin.
those were the days.
Yeah.
That things weren't expensive. People were getting rid of stuff because it was out of fashion and too big and too clunky for people to want.
Yeah.
It was literally being thrown away. I got my MS-20 was in a skip. I found that in a skip.
Wow.
And I also found, what else did I find? I think I found something. Can't remember, but I've found things before. That's how it was.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you used to phone me, didn't you? Go, "Oh, I've got something for you to look at," and I'd
Yeah.
never know what the hell he was going to turn up at the door with.
Yeah, yeah.
This colourful plasticky thing, and go, "Oh, make work." You go, what is it? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. And this is almost before the days of you could just Google anything and find out a schematic for it.
Yeah.
You had to actually kind of work
Use the
out
force,
what was going.
Luke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. Oh, good stuff. Just need to say thank you to David Serchek for his $9.99. That's super lovely of you. And of course, Wagyu with his 10 chuffs all the way from Switzerland. Thank you ever so much for those. If you want to do that, the link, you can do Super Chat, Super Stickers. And of course, the PayPal link is underneath the screen there. Any more questions in the chat, Ben? Has he gone to sleep? He's frozen. Is he frozen? Oh,
He
no.
didn't look that cold. All right, well, Skylab Music is asking, I'm
Yes.
really curious to hear from Benge, what was the crappiest synth he ever owned that he fell in love with?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Crappiest.
It's got to be the Polysynthy, isn't it?
Well, I do love the polysynthy, but yeah, I guess it is pretty crap. I mean, it basically looks incredible. It looks like it's going to be the best sounding synth ever made. Literally, just go and Google EMS polysynthy.
Yeah.
And prepare.
Isn't it in episode 1 of? Is
yes.
it 1 or 2? Yeah.
No, it's in the first polysynth one, which is episode 2. Yeah.
Yeah, episode 2 of Meme Show. Yeah, go and check it out there.
So it looks fantastic, and it kind of, I like the way it sounds because it is so kind of quirky, but it is really, it's crappy. It's really crappy, and it doesn't even, it's not got a proper like envelope. It's just got one envelope for all the notes, so it's like paraphonic really, even though it's called the polysynthy. It's actually, that's a total lie. It's a parasynthy.
It's a divide down, divide down.
It's a divide. Yeah, so all the notes play, like you can play every single note all at once, and then but it's literally only got one filter and like amplifier, so they all just sort of go through this one end thing. And but the great thing about it, it's got a built-in voltage controlled analog delay unit, which is really, really crazy for when it was made. No other synth had a built-in delay unit as far as I know back then.
It was actually a pedal, wasn't it? It was actually literally just
yes,
strapped
it was
in.
a Memory Man, was it, or something?
I think it was Memory Man, and they just literally just bolted it onto the bottom and then ran the wires up to it.
But it is voltage controllable, so you can control it from the keyboard or from the envelopes and things, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's what Solina would have looked like if Lego had designed it. Literally, it's really colourful, very colourful.
It's like a kid's. It's like a giant toy. It weighs a ton.
It kind of had. What's the Moog? The current Moog that's got the multi-color. Is the grandmother?
It's a grandmother. I think it's inspired by it. Actually.
Yeah,
it does look similar.
It surprised me.
Yeah, absolutely. We seem to have lost our Ben Simpson, so we'll crack on with that. There are some more questions that I want to throw your way if I can, because the chat is filling up with them. So another one from Icing the Body Electric says, Ben seems to have gone down a particular path regarding his music tech, very much old school synthesis. What are your thoughts or ideologies or notions with regards to sampling and sample based sonics?
I love samplers, and I love anything that will mess around with sounds or you can really get your hands into and sort of manipulate sound with. So I really enjoy sampling, but I kind of use old samplers really. Although I did get an Octatrack.
Oh yeah.
A while ago, which is quite good. But so I've got I've got a Fairlight, and I've got a Synclavier and a PPG, an Emulator 2. So I've got all these early samplers which I really love. None of them work at the moment. No, the Emu does, but everything else is out of action. But so basically sampling to me is just like another tool for manipulating sound, and I don't tend to use sample libraries and things. I like to kind of sample my own sounds really. And also I've got a Roland sampler from the late 80s. I think it was a S760.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing. I love that thing. I've got a little screen. It's got this kind of like a VDU that you can do stuff with, and so what I was doing with that, because you can sample like 5 minutes into that one. It's got really tons of memory, and it's got beautiful filters in. Very Roland sort of sound to it, even though it's like a sampler. So I've been I actually made a couple of albums the year before last, which I did on like using my buchla, sampling it into the Roland. These really long samples, like 2-minute samples, and then playing chords and things with very long samples and then sort of playing chords with them and things like that. That was quite cool. But But like I said, I don't really use much in the way of sample libraries or presets generally. I tend to kind of avoid them.
Yeah, you don't strike me as a preset person.
No, I mean I've got a little bit more into 90s synths because they're quite cheap to buy now. You know, like Korg and Roland synths from the 90s and Yamaha stuff. So, and I quite like the way they sound because they're really of their time, which I sort of find that quite interesting. That you know, even though they're all preset and sample based, like ROM based, basically.
Yeah.
They still sound really of their time.
Yeah.
I kind of like doing that as well. So I've done a few things with that sort of thing recently.
Nice. Ben's back. Where'd you go, mate?
Well, I went checking who was using all the internet up. I've got everybody turned.
Have you boxed their ears?
Everybody's sat in absolute silence now around the house, scared of moving.
Sorry, Vicky. There were some 2 or 3 questions in the chat. I'm going to try and combine them into one because I'm conscious of the time. But Sasquatch is asking also. I think Icing the Body Electric and Andy Synth Addict. They're asking literally about what you've got behind you there, and if you can give us maybe like a bit of a quick rundown of some of the highlights, maybe of you know your equipment behind you, and also somebody's asking about your desk that's behind over your shoulder there. You know, is that a custom thing or
that? Yes.
Yeah.
So this.
Yeah.
Is a console that I had built. Well, I sort of built it with a friend, cool. And it's basically got all my 90s synths in it, that I was just talking about, which I bought on eBay over in the last sort of 3 or 4 years. Like pretty cheap, most of them, but they're all in one big console because I wanted it to look like a kind of control room from a nuclear power station. Basically.
It works. Yeah, is that a Triton rack there?
No.
Is it an Akai sampler? It is, isn't it?
There's an S612 down there. Yeah, which I love. That thing is fantastic. Yeah. That's designed by the same person that designed the Polysynthy.
David Cockrell.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. We had Dave Caulfield from Akai on the show last week because he's writing a book about it. Yeah. And David came up a lot in that
was a good show. He was really interesting, that guy.
Have I clocked some EMS processor modules up there above?
I've got my I put my VCS3 in the racks thing. You see that cabinet it's in?
Yeah.
I got that at a car boot sale. That's like a G-plan coffee sort of table converted into a little cupboard that you get at a car boot sale. But it matches the wood like really perfectly. The same. So that's that, and they're that top one. If you can see that above the EMS there, that's like the
Is that the voltage processor?
No, that's the third one up, I think. No, that top one is they made like a bandpass filter a high pass filter for the Synthy 100.
All right.
And it's just been reissued, and it's amazing. I love that thing.
Oh wow!
It's a dual high pass filter, and it sounds beautiful. And you can do them in series or parallel. So you do really amazing things with it. And so that's my that's a sort of quarter of a Synthy 100 over there.
And then to the right as we see it, that's a Roland System.
That's the Roland System 100.
A lot of System 100,
like every module almost. And then to the right of that,
not quite all of them.
That's the 3C, isn't it?
That's the 3C. Yeah. That's one of the first things I bought.
Yeah. It's a good place to start, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I paid virtually nothing for that thing. Yeah, it was like everyone thought I was crazy. Like, really, just like, what are you doing, you idiot? Why are you buying that? Like, get rid of that now and put something proper in it.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've even got a Dofa 16.3.
I have
sequencer up there behind you as well.
Yeah, I have got one of them.
Hell.
There.
It's a good old mix, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's my little kind of white grey section, a couple of Akai's in there.
Yeah.
Nice. And then what else is there? That thing, you see
Yeah, I
that?
was gonna say, yeah.
That's a Buchla 100.
Yeah.
And that bit there
Mm-hmm.
is all like original.
Yeah.
I bought that before they cloned them, and then like I was really gutted because they're all cloned now. And then
But they do look like they belong in a lab and not in a studio, don't they?
yes,
Well, a lot of synthesizers. That's where they started, wasn't it? It was in labs,
Pretty much, yeah,
in
exactly,
universities, and
yeah.
that's where,
I think we all secretly love that laboratory kind of look as well, don't we? Feel really at home in that.
I'm still looking
Yeah.
for the Timberwolf, to be honest. It's he must have it under the desk.
No, tell me you don't have one of those. Thank you, Stylab Music, for your 10 Canadian dollars. That's interesting. I think we've had Canadian dollars before. Thank you very much. Really appreciate
Nice.
it. You mentioned the Fairlight, and of course, I've got to talk about this. If I play this clip, which is on YouTube, of your Fairlight track from 20 Systems, am I going to get told off by anyone?
Not by me.
Not by you. Cool. Right. Let me just do this because it is, I think, and I when we met at SynthFest a few years ago, I said to you, this is I think it's the only time I've ever heard the synthesis side of the Fairlight being
Which
used
is
in a
to me the
musical track.
most interesting thing about it.
And it's just a remarkable. It was remarkable that it was actually put out, because nobody's ever heard anything quite like this. Let's see if we can get it on. Is that me? Is that you? That's playing. Right. So this is, whilst this is playing, explain to us what we're hearing from the Fairlight, because obviously everybody knows the Fairlight as, the first commercial digital sampler, but this is using the fast Fourier transform additive synthesis engine.
Right. Well, I made it 14 years ago, so I'm going to struggle to remember. But basically, it is on the Fairlight. You've got I think 32 additive harmonics for making additive synthesis with.
Yeah.
And each sine wave has got its own envelope for the volume on it. And you can use different things to kind of bring all the different levels up and down. And if I remember rightly, I was just sort of playing with the light pen and scrolling through these different harmonics whilst holding down like a chord, doing it like that.
I see. Yes.
And it's just beautiful. I think that sort of, and it's so raw. I mean, it's sort of the early. That's why I love the early digital stuff. It sounds totally different to modern stuff because it was so raw and pure. It's like literally listening to binary numbers being generated, in real time. Whereas all that's kind of hidden now from you.
Yes, very true. I mean, it's just so nice to hear something created with that mode because it's often overlooked because the sampling was just so so dominant, and then of course Fairlight themselves just kind of gave up on it. It never worked. I think from what I've heard from talking to Peter Vogel and Kim and others, that it never fully worked as they intended it to work. Because obviously that's why they did sampling, the sampling feature, because they wanted that part to do the the emulation of acoustic instruments, and it didn't do it. So that's why they went sampling. But then when it comes to the Series 3, that feature is in there, but it's just broken. And
really?
I mean, I've passed through a number of Fairlight 3 systems going out of here. Not one of them has anybody ever said, "Ooh, where's the fast Fourier transform?"
Really?
Nobody asked about it.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and it's probably just as well because I don't know a huge amount about that side of it. But that track you heard was from this album here. I have to remember where my camera is. There it is. So that's 20 Systems. I don't think if you're lucky enough to find the physical copy, you've got to get it. It's got a brilliant introduction from Robin Rimbaud, also known as Scanner. And then every track is one instrument. So you've got Moog Modular, VCS3, ARP25 and 2600, Surge Modular, and I'll go on. There's CS80 on there, there's Roland 100M, there's the Korg, Lambda and Trident, PPG Wave, CMI, as you've just heard, the CX5M as well, which I love because I've got one of those as well, Synclavier and Kawai K5M. But each page has got some history. So there's the CX5 page just there, and lovely photography. It's just a wonderful thing. It's still available for download, and it's available from the Zach Dagobah Bandcamp page, which, if I can just find that here, I'll just share that with everyone. There was also a follow-up called 13 Systems. Was that just like a sequel of the ones you couldn't get on the first one?
It was actually kind of, I was asked to do it by a friend of mine called Philippe that runs a thing called Modulism radio station. Well, it's called modulism.info, and it's like a modular synth sort of platform. And he asked me if I would be interested in doing a kind of new version of 20 Systems. So I did it, and then I also filmed myself making each track.
Cool.
So the difference between this new version and the old one is this new one has, like, on YouTube there's like a 1 hour long sort of film of me making each each track is about 5 to 10 minutes long, so there's 13 of them, so
it's there's obviously lots of stuff on the Bandcamp page for you to go in and buy. Some brilliant stuff. There's 13 Systems there as well as 20 Systems, but if you want the physical version, go and find Discogs or something.
I think it's still out there. You can buy it from record shops.
Oh, right. So it's okay. Well, yeah. I mean, seriously,
I think
it's a synth nerd's dream. Absolutely.
It's a great idea.
That's brilliant.
For synth nerds, it's like
it's very It's like the kind of it's a real concept album, because the kind of structure of the album is built into the music, if in a way. It's like because it's a history almost, because it goes from 1967, which is my birthday when I was born. And it goes through 20 years, so each year is a different synth.
It's brilliant.
Brilliant idea and brilliantly executed.
Thank you.
Simon Fenn was asking, do you have a connection with Gary Newman, because he thinks he's seen your name in credits. Have you ever worked with Gary?
Yeah, I have. That's how I kind of, one of the first things I did that was kind of good was when I got asked by Gary Newman. There was a program called Synth Britannia. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
On the BBC, and they wanted to film Gary in a sort of studio, because he didn't have a studio at the time. I don't think. He kind of sold all his gear, and he was working, from his laptop probably. But so they asked me if they could film in my studio, and I met Gary that day. He came down to kind of the studio, and they filmed that bit of the program there. And but he brought his manager with him, and he is now my manager.
Oh wow!
Steve Malins, and basically through that I met John Fox, and I met a lot of the people that I still work with now.
Cool.
So anyway, that was in 2000 I guess it was 2009 or something like that.
Yeah.
A long while ago. But I met Gary, and he was really brilliant, because he like I said, he'd sold all his gear like years before that, and he hadn't really used analog synths for years, and he kind of came to my studio, and there were all these, like, I had a Moog set up, like it was all switched on, and we had this amazing moment where we were trying. He was like, "Oh, you got a Moog? Let's do Cars on it." And I was like, "Yeah, great, let's do Cars." And then I sort of thought, "Hang on, I don't actually know how to play that." And he must have thought the same thing, because we started playing it, and you know that bit that goes, duh, 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 duh,
Yeah.
duh, 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 and we were getting that note like wrong every time, and we were sort of trying to work it out, going duh, 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 duh. No, that's not right. And then went on for ages. It was really embarrassing.
It must have been fun though. I mean, to work with. I guess he must have been a hero of yours, as he was most of us.
Yeah, it was the first gig I ever saw when I was 9. Was Gary Newman.
Yeah.
Literally, like my first experience of music in a gig.
Yeah, I never got to see him back in his pomp. Certainly back then, but in recent years, I've seen him
amazing
a good number
live.
of times.
Like he's just fantastic live.
Math and Terra actually got, because they have supported him numerous times, and when they were over in the UK supporting him, they managed to get me in backstage. Apparently Gary wasn't in the best of moods, so I kind of stood back and didn't really. But I saw him from the.
No, he just doesn't like you. I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's understandable.
He said that to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I watched him from the side of the stage next to the monitor mix, and just to see him close up doing that is just genius. Absolutely brilliant.
He's amazing.
He's the real deal.
Yeah.
And there's that brilliant Sky Arts documentary that was on the other week that is really good. It's very insightful.
I haven't seen that yet. I need to check that. I don't get Sky Arts, so I need to come out.
Yeah, it's. I think somebody it's probably been uploaded online, but Sky Arts is actually free, so I think they'll probably be repeating it.
Okay.
Or you can just subscribe to whatever it is, Sky. I don't want to give them any free advertising. Anyway, Ben, have there been any more questions in the chat? Because we're going to run out of time. Go.
Right, okay, let me have a quick look. Have we asked this one? Because I disappeared for a little bit. About Synth Addict's question about what are Benji's favourite and least favourite synths and why.
No, we haven't asked that one.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, I really love modular synths. I think you could probably tell. And basically, my favourite synth is the Buchla, I think.
Wow.
Of all time, because it's just so, especially that one. That's the original Buchla 100.
Yeah.
It's just so raw and crazy sounding, and so unlike anything else, basically. And it really sort of suits my way of thinking about composing and creating sound. So that's my favorite. But least favorite, I don't really know. I don't like plugins. I don't really like things that aren't real. To me, it's like, I don't know, it's like that artificial sweeteners you put in your drinks. It ruins the drink for me. If you kind of do something in a studio that's got real synths on it, and then you put like a plug-in with it, it just feels like you kind of polluted it or something, which is really bad, because I know most people don't have access to, and I think they're great in terms of how they're kind of so easy to use and to get hold of and all that side of it. But for me personally, it's like I don't like them.
Yeah.
Cool.
I get that, yeah.
Anything else, Ben?
This is a question read by a Ben, to a Ben, from a Ben. So we've got a three Ben
Central.
A three Ben situation going on here.
Triple.
Is there a synth that got away, Ben? Asks Ben, read by Ben.
There are
one synth you've been chasing but still haven't managed to get hold of yet.
Well, there's millions like that, but there's a few that I've had here that I let go because they weren't mine, and I didn't. No, one in particular was an ARP 2600, which I had kind of on loan for a couple of years actually, and the person that loaned it to me was like, "Oh, this was years ago, by the way." It was like, "Oh, do you want to buy that off me?" And I was like, "Oh, how much do you want?" And she was like, "Oh, I want a DJ deck. Would you swap it for a Technics, like, you know, DJ CD thing, which is worth about 300 quid?" And I said no. I was like, "No, it's fine. You can take it back." So that was one that got away actually.
Oh, yeah.
But there's others that, you know, I've kind of lusted after, I suppose. I suppose the thing that I really want to try properly is a Synthy 100.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's ever going to happen, really.
Have you been tempted by Tom Carpenter's?
I did play on it at that SynthFest thing there,
Yes.
where I met you, but I didn't get a proper go. But yeah, I mean, I get it, but again, it's not the real thing, and it's kind of I don't know. It's really expensive for what it is in a way, and it's huge. But then again, I'm not saying I want to get a Synthy 100. Although if there is anyone donating them, I'll take it. But what I'm saying is, I'd just like to, I would just like to have like a couple of days with one.
Yeah.
Really get to know it, sort of thing.
Have you heard the Soulwax album that they
Yeah,
did with?
yeah, I have.
Just it's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they
enjoyed that.
sort of used my studio for a few months once.
Oh, wow.
Because I went away to America for a couple of months, and they took my studio over while I was gone. So they And wow, that was another thing that got away, was they had a massive Roland System 700, like a full, all the modules, like the big double width one, triple width one, and that was in my studio for about 2 years.
Wow.
But I couldn't, they weren't going to sell it to me. But then they took it away, and I was like really crying.
Dear. Oh dear. Actually, there's one here that's just come in last minute from Graham, who's asking, how did you end up working with Neil Arthur?
Neil Arthur. What happened? That was actually when I went to LA, which is what I was just talking about. I made all this music on like a mini little studio that I put together when I was in LA, and I made like a whole album's worth of tracks, and it was sort of quite beat based, and it wasn't my normal sort of thing. And when I got back to the UK after doing that, I kind of had this whole album's worth of stuff, and I kind of thought it'd be really interesting to get a singer to kind of work on it, try and get someone to add vocals to it. And I played it to a few people, and they didn't really get it or whatever. So eventually Neil heard it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll do some vocals on that. That sounds interesting, like a little project." And he did it, and we started a new band called Fader. We've done 3 albums now. Wow. So that's how I kind of started working with Neil. And I also do all the Blancmange albums now with him. We did them all here at the studio.
One's just recently come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Private View.
That's it. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I did a gig with Neil once with Blancmange, and
did you?
Yeah, it was
playing
really
in his band?
Good. No, I was supporting them, but I was surprised. David Rhodes was playing guitar as well. That was like really cool too.
Wow.
He does work with him still, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I was surprised how hands-on Neil is. You get this like synth duo idea, from the 80s that there's a synth nerd like Dave Ball who does everything and a vocalist, but Neil was very involved in that side of things. He was getting involved with the sound, and he was really meticulous with the way things were played, and that. Yeah, I was really impressed.
He's a very talented young man.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going out on tour, supporting him as Oblong. When's that kicking off?
That is on. Oh, I don't know the actual dates. That's quite bad, isn't it? But it's sort of early October.
Right, yeah.
And it's like there's 20 gigs, and they're all around the UK.
Yeah, because you're coming here, Colchester, aren't you?
Yeah. Do you want a ticket?
I'd love one.
All right, I'll sort that out.
Nice one. Yeah, and because the other thing that surprised me is that Neil's, as part of Blancmange, is also coming to this tiny little town about 10 miles down the road from me, which I will also go to, just to support getting more gigs in that place. But yeah, if you want to see Neil Arthur on tour, it's kicking off in October. Check out the website. We'll find the link. We'll throw it up and maybe bung it in the description below. There was one more donation. Thank you, Simon Fenn. Thanks to Rob and Benge, and also to Ben and Kent as well. Thanks for your donation. Hugely appreciate it. There was one more question in the chat that you want to do that, or do you want me to do that one?
Could you do it? I'm just looking for a link.
I Sing the Body Electric, who's got a fair old share of questions in tonight. Thank you for that. He apologises in advance to everyone. But Benge, do you have any interest in the academic style or school of electronic music? For example, WDR Cologne, INAGRM, etc.
I do really like abstract music. So I've done a lot of I wouldn't call it academic, the stuff I do, because it's all a bit kind of ad hoc, but I really do enjoy music that isn't necessarily melodic or rhythmic. And I don't know if that sort of answers the question, but I mean I'm fascinated by pretty much all electronic music. And especially very experimental stuff and things that are really trying to find new ideas and push the boundaries, sort of thing. So yes, I do really like that stuff. I mean, I do like Stockhausen, I have to say, as well.
Yeah.
So and he had a Synthy 100. I keep going on about them for some reason, but it's kind of, I do like that kind of area, which is, you know, the fine line between art, pure art, and music as well. That kind of there's a balance, isn't there? And it's a kind of interesting area, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we've exhausted all the questions. That's our hour with Benge up. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
This is your first live stream, I think you
Yes,
said.
it is.
Wow. We'll
Come
mark
on
that
now.
one up. Yeah, there you go.
There you
You
go.
popped your
Yeah.
cherry.
That's it.
We'd love to have you back. If you would love to come back, we'd have you. So we'll get you back on sometime soon. And
Yeah, because the other half of the studio, that side, is quite
Yeah.
cool as well.
oh yeah, we'll do next time. We'll do it the other way around.
I'll swap round, yeah.
Fantastic.
All the gold discs on the wall.
So yeah, exactly. You're out on tour in October. First
Yes.
off with Oblong, and then with Stephen Mallender. So check out the website. Is there a website that's got information about that? Is that the? If not, we'll find some links. Don't worry, I'll put you on
Yeah,
the spot.
go and
We'll
do
work it out.
Google. It's called Google.
Google. I'll use that. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you got that, and then of course, Meme Tune episode 6 is
Yeah,
due.
the last episode in the first series is due out in about 3 weeks.
Brilliant. And we'll put a link to the channel in below as well. But it's Zach Dagobah on YouTube, or just search Meme Tune Studio, and you'll find all of that on there. Benge, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour to have
Thanks.
you on. Thank you
Thank you.
ever so much, and best of luck with the tour.
Thank you
Best
very
of
much.
luck with episode 6. Can't wait to see that, and
Hey,
we'll get you back on soon.
thanks. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Pleasure.
Take care.
Right.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, there he goes. Wrong one. Press the wrong button. Let's get there we go. Right. There we go. Ben Edwards, everyone.
What a nice guy. Very nice.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. There we go. Huge fan. It's one of those box tick moments for me.
I forgot to ask him about his patio skills.
Oh, hang on. You might still be around. Hang on. Patio skills,
Oh,
Benge.
Patio skills, come on.
Oh, why is it time to re patio your patio?
Oh, mate, you wouldn't
The bodies are
recognise it.
stinking up the place.
Yeah. Yeah, the hands coming out of the grass, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's completely different now.
Is it? Oh,
It's all
well,
decade.
God,
Always
I
Yeah.
will come. I will come round and do, and you know, we can, I don't know, put a fence up or something.
Oh yeah, he's got.
Oh
a Mustang
wow,
there.
you got a Mustang. Okay.
Mac 1,
Oh, nice.
73,
Really?
Cleveland 351. Yeah,
Wow.
baby.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, baby.
That's got
Yeah.
him. That's real.
I'll bring the Esprit down.
You've not got an Esprit. My favourite car ever.
Right, I better go.
We haven't
Indeed.
changed, have
Thank
we?
you again. See you again soon, Benge. Take
See you
care.
later, darling.
Bye.
Take care. mate.
Bye. There we go. Ben Edwards again. Guys, let's do some news, shall we?
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh, all right.
We need a theme
Yeah.
tune for the
We
news.
do, yeah. I haven't got anything like that.
Dun, 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 dun.
There you go.
News from PSN.
Oh dear. Right. So here we go. Let's talk about some news topics that have been going around. Whilst I fan myself after speaking with Benge. Okay, let's do this one first of all. This company, Sample Logic, have just come out with a brand new instrument tool, if you want to call it that. It's called Synth AI. As you can tell, it's all very neon, so I think kind of gives it away as to what it's all about. But we've spoken about these guys before, and they have this kind of suite of products that are primarily focused, I guess, at cinematic composers, theme composers, TV, film, that kind of thing. And it's kind of like for instant kind of impact and sort of inspiration. Let me just bring up the video demo so you can hear what it's all about, whilst we cogitate and contemplate what we're going to say about this thing. Hang on, started a bit too soon there. There we go. A bit like me. we go. I think we all kind of can tell what that's about. Oh, Ben's gone off again. I think the internet's probably struck him again.
Needed another beer.
Indeed, yeah. So SmplTrek, creators of many instruments that are kind of focused on that kind of composition. This time now all completely based with synthesizers rather than what was the last one? That was all kind of Japanese drums and all that kind of stuff. They've done. I mean, they're really good, and I've messed around with them, and they are very kind of inspiring. That you can just like play a few notes and you get some kind of rhythm going, all that kind of thing. But I guess it's not for everyone. But I kind of like this one because it's all synthesizer based, and I guess I was playing through some of the presets the other day, and you can instantly see that if you're into that synthwave genre. This could be a really good kind of starting point. Is this up your street, Ken? 'Cause I know you do. Your stuff is very cinematic, isn't it?
It can be. This is the sort of library where people, composers who do TV and film, wouldn't go near because it's to them it's absolutely just full of cliches.
Yes.
Whereas somebody who wants to experiment with doing TV, film type compositions, it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hence the price. I mean, was it $149 or something like that? Isn't it? So
full price is $249.99. Intro is $149.99. I think if you shop around, you can maybe get a little bit more off of that as well.
So you're actually getting quite a lot for your buck. It's as a tool to take you, into the future.
Yeah.
Not so much, but definitely as a tool to learn the craft. Yeah, ideal. Yeah. Because you've got everything that you pretty much need there.
Yeah, and I think Benge was saying earlier about because when he was doing his film and TV work, you needed a studio. Now you can just kind of do it on a laptop in a bedroom or something. This is exactly what he's talking about. You call this up and you're instantly sort of composing, again with cliches. But if a client says, "I want more Hans Zimmer," then you can go to one of these tools and there it is.
Yeah. You got the thwap preset.
Yeah.
Done, sorted.
Ben, where did you go, mate? Internet gone again?
No, bladder.
Call of nature.
Yeah. I had to go to the little boy's room.
So, Synth AI, did you get a chance to listen to it?
I had a look at it. It looks good, but again, it's that full version of Kontakt only, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think that's such a shame because not everybody's got that and might want to. They might want to splash out 150 quid on this, but not necessarily the full price of the Kontakt thing. Yeah. I don't know. I think we spoke about it before, and it's something to do with licensing. The licensing is more, isn't it? If you want to use the Kontakt player or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was my assumption because if you want to put your libraries into the free Kontakt player, it will cost the developer more to do that.
Yeah.
Whether that's their specific motivation in dropping that functionality, because they did used to all work in the free player. Now they don't. So I just wondered if that was the reason why. But
I think it's a shame, really, because I see the full version of Kontakt being more. Maybe they should make a lighter version that's not. Will play everything, but not got all the features. Maybe none of the developer features about making your own.
Well, it's like
your own bits.
Falcon and UVI Workstation both load the same stuff, and I think there is an extra licensing element if you want it available in. But I think it might be unified now. I can't remember, but it's more favourable to developers to work on that platform. But obviously, Kontakt has a much bigger installed user base. And I resisted from getting Kontakt until they did a ridiculous deal. And because this is the weird thing, because I had one of SmplTrek's libraries, it qualified me for this stupid discount.
Right.
and so I got the full version of Kontakt for about 120 quid, or maybe it's a bit less. But yeah, so then I thought, well, at that price, then yeah, it makes sense to have it.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes even if you've got the full version of Kontakt, sometimes you actually have to go into the files and hunt for the bloody folders yourself.
That's another
because
bugbear.
if you want a banner listed,
that's another.
When you fire it up, that's
that
money.
costs the developers to put it in there.
Serious money.
And funnily enough, Sample Logic, all of their stuff, you have to go and navigate to it rather than it showing up.
Fluffy audio's the same.
Yeah. I wish Native Instruments. I mean, they've got such, well, not necessarily a monopoly, but they've got such a large market share. And maybe that's why they've got such large market share. But I don't know. They ought to just
I
chill.
think they could afford to ease up a bit.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah,
bit.
you could have Kontakt Player that works as it does now. Kontakt, which will play everything, and Kontakt Pro, which is for developers. With every feature in it.
Yeah. And
maybe charge about 50 quid for the standard Kontakt.
To kind of bring it back to Synth AI, I mean, it's got over 1,000. No, it's all valid. It's over 1,000 instruments, 24 gig of sample content, made entirely from multi-sampled analog, digital, modern, and vintage synths. It's got this, this kind of engine that they use where you have the 4 elements, and then you can modulate between them, and you can automate that modulation, and you can mess around with each of those elements. You don't have to use the presets. You can sort of adapt them to your own tastes. But I mean, out of the box, you can just start getting quite creative with it. And I was just playing with it the other day, very casually, and was just thinking, oh, this sounds good, because it gives you some ideas and inspiration, and that's, I think, clearly what it's for. Quite highly regarded in the community. Even Jean-Michel Jarre and Jordan Rudess are. Did I say Jordan? It's because I said Jean-Michel and then I went Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan, sorry.
Oui, monsieur.
In France, I'm using Jordan.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of people rate it, and it's very good stuff. And it's a fairly decent price if this is up your street. They also do the bundle with World AI and Symphonic AI for $450, which is a significant discount off the individual prices. There's about 11 days to go on that sale. But yeah, do go and check that out if you're into doing kind of soundtrack work. These things are, I would say, invaluable inspiration tools, if not full creation tools for your work. SampleLogic.com is where you can go and find out more about that and buy that product from them directly. It's called Synth AI. It is out now, and there you go. Right.
Sounds good.
Let's see what else we've got. Oh, well, it's been a while, I guess. So I guess we ought to do this. I got a little bit excited, only in as much as I thought, at last they're actually going to be putting something on sale, but it turns out that's not the case. But Dan and his quiff are back for Behringer.
So you've been following it on its R&D journey so far, but it's about time for its journey to continue in your setup. Introducing the Behringer Solina String Ensemble.
So I'm not going to go through this whole thing because it's about 4 minutes long. But yeah, the Solina String Ensemble, it looks like it's now production ready. They've finished all the development, and it's going to be on sale when they have the chips. So there you go. I just got all excited because I thought at last maybe things are turned, but no, it's not. It's not happening. But to be fair, again, I'm not an expert on the original, and we will come to someone who is shortly. But I didn't think it sounded awful at all. It sounded, what I'd expect one of those to sound like. They reckon the price is going to be $359, which I believe is higher than what they originally said. I think they were going for $199.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's, it must be a reflection of the rising cost of parts to make this thing up. But yeah, Solina String Ensemble from Behringer. Thoughts on this? Let's go to Kent first. Your thoughts? Does this cut the mustard?
Well, here's a product that nobody asked for. The thing about this is that the Solina was brilliant 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
whether it's plugins, whether it's actually standard, even just standard digital hardware, this sound is recreatable. It's not difficult. There's no nuances in it that would warrant it having to be a separate module available, recloned and stuff like that. It's not like the Odyssey or the Minimoog or whatever. This is sort of like building block stuff. This is like, really? Somebody asked for this? You go, oh yeah, they did this. What was it? The 340 or where it was the
VC340.
Yeah, 330 clone and stuff like that. Yeah, that's cool. That's enough. You just didn't need to go here.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they've done this one.
It's kind of
they're going to do this one.
Yeah, it's kind of a one-trick pony, isn't it? It's one of those synths that it's kind of got a sound, and that's the sound, and that's nothing. You can vary. I mean, they've got the phaser in there to give you that thing.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you turn off the ensemble on a Solina, it's like, I think I'll go home. It's like that. It's a little square wave. It's a little square wave, and it's not hard to recreate a square wave. No. It's about the ensemble, but that is redoable. The plugins coming out of our wazoo now that can do ensemble and all that. There they are. They come complete with other other plugins and stuff. So okay, good. If you're really, really, really into your Solinas, you'd probably own a Solina. I don't see the point of them doing this one.
Yeah,
I must admit, I don't get it. I'm old.
I know with this one you can feed. Dan demonstrates this in the video that you can feed other synths through the effects in there. So if you want to stick something through a phaser, then you've got that option as well. And I guess like some of that form factor, you can take it off and stick it into a Eurorack case. I think I might be wrong, but
it's the same as the Pro one.
Yeah.
But I think there was already existing modules that could do it.
Oh,
already.
yeah, probably. Yeah,
from
because they say it's
other manufacturers. Yeah.
Was it Strike Effect from Waldorf?
I was gonna mention exactly that. I had a Strike Effect, and it was great. Like Kent says, I agree with him. The sound, I mean, that's totally digital. Is it Strike Effect?
Yeah,
SynthFest or something.
Yeah.
They've got one up there. I can't remember.
It's totally digital, but it's got the right sound to it. I was well impressed with that when I got that. So I don't think that you need, and I don't think that price hike is going to help things, because I've got to admit, at 199 quid, I like a bit of Solina stuff in my music. It always seems to sit quite nice and that, because I do that like 80s kind of vibe. But the Arturia plugin does a good enough job for me, and the Strike Effect did a good enough job for me. So I might be tempted to spend 199 quid on it, but not 350. That's not for something just as a. Well, I wonder if it'll sound better if I've got an analog version of it. Who cares? Just but I think there will be a market for it. But I think that maybe they should hold back on it until it can be £199, because it seems worth £199. To me, it doesn't seem worth 350 when you think about what else you can get for 350 quid these days.
Well,
a thing that only does Solina is possibly not high up on your priorities.
Yeah, but I think it's the wrong one as well, because it should actually be the String Melody 2.
Right. Yeah.
If you're going to bring one back, bring that one back. The one that actually sounds, because the Solina is actually quite a harsh sound, as opposed to the Melody 2, which is more a more musical version of that kind of sound, and it's not that hard to recreate.
Manny's saying it sounds like a dental drill.
I need no.
I need would. Indeed.
The dental drill's a bit cheaper.
I mean, it's a little bit more information. It's kind of confirmed now that it's going to go into production, but when, again, we still don't know. So we shall see, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear about that one. But you can go and check that on Behringer's own YouTube channel. funny we mentioned Manny, because that's kind of going to be the next subject, or something that I'm sure he won't be able to tell us any more about. But these rumours have been bounding around for a few days now, and they seem to have been confirmed. And it is the fact that apparently on the 1st of September, so that's next week. When is that? Is that Wednesday or Thursday? I can't remember. Thursday, isn't it?
One of them.
They're going to announce that, which is the MODX Plus in 6, 7, and 8 versions, as it has been before. What's plus about it? Well, YamahaMusicians.com, which is a great website if you are, like me, obsessed with all things from Yamaha. It's a very good source of information, and apparently they've had a lot of this confirmed. So what we're about to tell you seems to have come straight from the horse's mouth. It will come with 1.7 gig of user memory, which is the same as the Montage, which is its daddy. There's going to be an increase of polyphony for the FM engine to 128 notes, which is pretty impressive. Again, the same as the Montage. And the rumours were early on saying, oh, you know that thing, that ANX thing that they patented recently, or filed for a patent for, maybe that's going to be in the MODX Plus. Well, apparently some person in Mexico has got one and has been taking pictures of the user manual, and there is no mention of anything other than the AWM and the FMX engine, obviously with the extra horsepower that goes behind that. So I don't think we'll see an ANX engine in there. I might be wrong, but why do that in there when you really want people to buy the Montage? That's where it's going to go, if it's going to go anywhere.
Well, if this is coming up closer to the levels of the Montage, there's got to be a reason to buy a Montage, hasn't there? That would then indicate that maybe there's going to be a new Montage down the line. That's going to be, because you're not going to be you're not going to cannibalize your own product, are you? But the MODX, I always thought the whole point of the MODX, especially given its name, was that it was a focus on the FM part, with the DX name and all that kind of thing. That it was a cut down Montage with a specific focus on the FM. So it's supposed to be coming out. So that September 1st is the announcement. The guys at Yamaha forums are saying it's now confirmed to be September 1st. So will be interesting to see. I've spoken with the guys at Yamaha here in the UK, and I've asked them, because I've heard Manny wax lyrical about this thing. I've also heard lots of bad things about it, and every time I've been in a position to mess around with one, it's not been plugged in, or it's not been connected to speakers. Are you listening, Yamaha, in your store in London? So I really wanted to have a go at this. So I've asked the guys at Yamaha very nicely if they might send one just for us to have a look at. And so, fingers crossed, you never know. They'll probably send me the old one because they don't need it anymore. But who knows? But thoughts on this? I mean, the MODX is from all accounts, as far as the sonic qualities and the programming capabilities and the power, is an incredible machine. Got a lot of criticism for the fact it didn't have basic channel aftertouch, that it was a very plasticky kind of, felt cheap in terms of its build quality, not kind of really what we had come to expect from Yamaha, but seems to be incredibly popular. I've heard quite a bit recently about people slating build quality, and sometimes the lighter build quality is an advantage. Live use, you don't want to be carting a Montage in a flight case. A Montage 8 in a flight case would take probably 2 people to carry it upstairs. So you definitely don't want to gig with that. But I've got the MX49 thing. I can literally carry that in one hand. Just put it on my stand with one hand, and it sounds fine. It looks like a pile of crap. It looks like it should have a burger in it or something. It's that flimsy, but it sounds great, and it's great for live because it doesn't. In my aging years, it doesn't kill me getting it to the stage. So I think build quality, yeah. We all feel a bit peeved when we get something that's not metal and very light, but you go out gigging with that, and it's a bonus. You know, it's not a disadvantage in any way at all. Yeah. So maybe that's what they're thinking there.
Yeah. What do you think, Ken?
I pretty much agree with Ben on it. I must admit, I like customers when they bring light plastic keyboards for me repair instead of huge metal and wood monstrosities. But
yeah,
me and Yamaha really actually parted ways after Motif ES. I've been waiting for Yamaha to produce something that would go, come here, look what we got. And maybe they haven't said Poly AT to me yet. And then I'll be going, oh, what you got? It's just nothing's really brought me back at the moment. ASM have my undying love at the moment.
Yes, yeah.
So, sickeningly amounts of undying love. I want Yamaha to pull out a flagship. They can afford to do it. I think the market's got room to have it. Bring out a MODX with poly aftertouch and whistles and bells and
or
light beams and whatever. Just everything go absolutely super duper kind of smack in the face kind of keyboard. It's just everything they've been doing, like a lot of other companies, sort of like, it's all right, I suppose.
Yes, kind of more generic.
I want something to come out and smack, put them back on the Mac properly.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan, as everybody knows. That's just a picture there because that is an actual MODX 8 Plus in the wild, in its box, or out of its box, should I say. So these aren't mock-up photos, these are the real deals. I mean, I was talking to our friend Ty Unwin about the montage, and I said, I've never really been a fan of workstations. And he said, whoa, it's not a workstation. And I said, what? He said, it's not work. And I just, because I've never really had an interest, I just assumed it was a workstation. I never really looked any further into it. But it is more of a kind of powerhouse synthesizer with all these multiple, sort of sound creating methods, and the sequencing is really kind of almost like an afterthought. Is his words, not mine. So they're kind of almost there with the montage, but they don't seem to be making such a big deal of it as this kind of powerhouse synth. So maybe if there is a new montage on the way, that's the way it's going to go. I don't know. Be interesting to see what happens. Whether is it just MODX being announced, or
how much is the MODX 8?
Well, the standard one.
Yeah, the current one.
The current one.
Could have googled it.
Yeah, you could have done. I mean, honestly, you're making me.
What's that? How do you spell?
I thought you'd just
Google?
know. With you being such a Yamaha geek, I thought you would just go.
Well, vintage
Yamaha.
It's about 1,200 quid, depending on From what I'm looking at here,
you know what?
24/7.
That's not bad. That because I paid. I mean, this Keylab 88 isn't full price. Isn't that far off that, and it does nothing apart from be a controller.
Yeah.
So you're getting all of that additional functionality for not much more money, really. That is pretty good value.
Yeah. So,
I should imagine that the Plus is in the same ballpark. They're not going to hike it up another grand, are they?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought so. But then everything's getting more expensive.
Yeah.
We've just seen Behringer. Apparently, I say that I'm pretty sure they said 199. I'll have to go back and check, and I didn't.
I seem to remember that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And now they're saying 359. I mean, that's. I don't know my percentages, but that's another 150, 160 quid on top. That's nearly doubled. So
20,000%, I'd say.
Yeah, it must be, or give or take. So anyway, look, MODX Plus is allegedly coming September 1st. Whether we see or hear anything else from Yamaha on that day with regards to the montage, or maybe maybe something new and different. I don't know, but maybe we will see the realization of that ANX patent at some point soon. I'm sure we will.
I know quite a few Montage and MODX users, and they
Right.
all say try one. You know, don't
that's
slate it. It is actually really, really powerful.
Yeah.
So
Well, hopefully the guys at Yamaha UK will hear my plea and come through, and I'll be able to set it up against some of the other stuff. I'd like to actually sort of set it up against the FS1R because it uses the 8-operator synthesis from that, and see how different it is without the extra bits that they didn't bring over. You know, the unvoiced operators and the formant synthesis. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully we'll be able to talk about that next week. Talking of next week, Paulee Alex Bow is going to be on this show next week, and they've been doing some great stuff. And actually, I was going to share something else, but seamless link here. Paulee's new channel has released its first full-scale project, and if I add this to the stream, here it is. So Creative Reverbs Part 1 on the Magical Synth Adventure channel. It's a good almost 15 minutes long, looking through some of the reverbs, and they're speaking of Yamaha as well. Sorry, I just got rid of that. Paulee's got is it the Rex 50, the little tabletop reverb unit that they did, but there's his circuit bent, and so it does some really, really cool stuff. But so this is Magical Synth Adventure from Paulee Alex Bow. It's on YouTube now. And
Reverb.
It's a lot of fun, as you would expect from Paulee, who is a great talent. And the other great thing is it really exposes their music, which I've always been a fan, and it's great to watch. So Paulee will be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
One thing I love and one thing I hate about that video. Then I love that he's used the Amiga. It seems as though he's used the Amiga for the video, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
I know that Paulie's a big Amiga fan, and I can't wait to chat to him all things Amiga when he comes on. But what I don't like is the tune, because it's a total earworm. I watched one of his videos, and I'm not messing. I had Magical Synth Adventure stuck in my head all day. It was doing me head in. It worked. Really annoying me. Yeah. So
awesome.
It'll get in your head, that tune, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's all good stuff. So yeah, go and check out the channel. It's Magical Synth Adventure. That's all you got to do. Search for that, and you will find the channel. And I think there's a second video that Paulee put up, which was like episode 1.5, which is a bit of a studio tour. A very quick one. It's only about 5 minutes, but there's a lot of stuff to get in there, and they've got some brilliant instruments in there. And I will take Paulee up on this when they're on the show next week. The DX7 is leaned up against the wall behind a rack of other synthesizers. That's not you do not put the DX7 in the corner.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Exactly. So I'll be having words with Paulee about that, but that's next week. So yeah, looking forward to that. Right. So I thought I'd put that in there because it seemed like a sort of a seamless link, a little bit tenuous, but the thing I was going to talk about was something we spoke about the other week. Now I mentioned that there has been a documentary movie made about this crazy East German synthesizer called the Subharchord, and it got a release in Hamburg. It was being shown at some festival in Hamburg. I think it also had a limited release on a kind of a niche TV channel in Germany. But the exciting news is that it's getting its UK premiere, and it's happening on the day of SynthFest UK, like a 4-minute walk from the venue at a place called the Drama Studio in Sheffield. And it's going to be on from 6 till 7 p.m. on the 8th of October. Tickets are incredibly cheap. And if you are going to Synthfest, you will get a discount, a reasonable discount as well. So book your tickets now. And all you've got to do is go to sensoria.org.uk and then just look for the events list, and then you'll see the Subharchord movie linked there, and you can then book your tickets. And if you go, I will see you there, because I'm definitely going to be there. And because it features my late friend Steve, I spoke to Steve's wife the other day, and she's hoping to come up as well to watch that. So that'll be quite a nice thing, because I think that was kind of one of the last times that Steve was like captured on film. He wasn't captured on film very much, but that's going to be absolutely fantastic. So come down to SynthFest, spend the day at the Octagon Centre, nerding out over some incredible stuff, and then before dinner, after show, before dinner, come and watch that movie. And I think you'll have a wonderful time. So I just thought I'd give that a plug, because I want that to sell out, because it needs seeing. Are you guys, obviously Kent, for obvious reasons, you won't be coming to SynthFest. Will Fiona be representing you again this year or not?
I don't know. I don't know if the handbrake on the Chrysler could cope.
Oh, that's harsh. She must have learned her lesson. Give her the
You'd
Mustang.
think, wouldn't you?
Give her the Mustang. But she's got a nice little new smart
She'll
car.
never get there. Yeah, she's got a nice little smart car now. I've told her off the wheels spinning off of the driveway.
With a nice tailwind, she'll be able to do that.
Yeah, she'll be all right. Yeah. She might. It depends on what's going down.
Yeah. Well, let me know if she does, so I can avoid her. No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You'll hear her coming, don't worry.
Oh, yes. Well, that was the first time I met her, was there.
Yeah.
Ben, you're gigging, aren't you?
Last time I checked, I wasn't gigging, so I was actually hoping to get along to this one.
Excellent.
I've got my camper van, so I was hoping come down on the Friday, stay in my camper van, do the Saturday, and then come back up. But we'll have to see, because we've got a new agent now, and the gigs are flying at us left, right, and centre everywhere. So. Yeah.
Get him.
Got a ponytail called Tark.
Superstar.
He's called Dave.
Oh, that's all right. Down to earth guy.
It's not Rave Dave, is it? It's not Darren House's Rave Dave.
Yeah.
The purple one.
No. He's actually he's done John Peel sessions in the past, so he's probably known to some. Yeah, but I'm not giving his full name.
Well, look, if anybody else is coming, and I'm hoping that a whole bunch of people in the audience are going to come down, I'm going to be there all day. I'm going to be there all weekend. I'm coming up on the Friday, and I don't go home until I've sobered up on the Sunday. So I will be there at some point all weekend, staying in the Novotel, because I've changed hotels now, don't you know? I've gone up in the world.
Yes.
It's easier for them to pay my bill that way. So, so I'm going up. I'll be there all day. So from Friday evening, all day Saturday, and then Sunday, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll be coming home at some point, I'm sure. Eventually, yeah. Come along, say hi. We won't have there won't be any merch. I don't think we'll be able to get any merch together in time to sell. We won't be allowed to sell it because we don't have a stand or anything. Maybe that's one for next year. I should probably be hanging around most of the places. And IK Multimedia have asked me to sort of go and do something, so I might go and hang out there for a bit. Not that they've got anything new. So yeah, come along and share the fun. Tickets are available. That reminds me. Tickets, early bird tickets. The price goes up after. I think it's this weekend. Let me just check, because I was speaking to Paul the other day. Yes, so early bird tickets, which means it's £12.50 instead of the £15. Goes up to August 31st. So if you want to save yourself £2.50, which is, it's the price of half a pint of beer these days, maybe. Actually, in Sheffield, it's probably 2 pints.
Or 2 miles in petrol.
Round in Sheffield, that.
Yeah. So an advance
2 miles
ticket,
worth of petrol.
Exactly, yeah. £12.50 until August 31st. After that, it goes up to £15. And I think you can buy tickets on the door, but I wouldn't advise it. I'd always advise to book. Students and, as they class them on here, unwaged people. That's a very PC term, isn't it?
Musicians.
Yeah, musicians. Students and musicians, £9. Children under 14, free. So bring your kids, get them involved, get them into this habit, and they'll never touch drugs in their life.
Yeah.
They just can't afford it.
Won't
But yes,
be able to afford it. Yeah.
exactly. Synthfest,
Or
8th of
anything
October.
else.
Yeah. Come down, go for that, and then stay for the Subharchord, which you can book tickets through sensoria.org.uk. And if you're a Synthfest ticket holder, you get a discount off of that as well. So don't say we didn't warn you. It's all there. So we've done Magical Synth Adventure. We've done the Subharchord. We've spoken about Yamaha. Remind me, I had to think about this. Did I talk about the Don Lewis movie getting its PBS airing in America in February next year? Did I mention that last week?
I think we did mention Don Lewis last week.
Yeah,
So I remember getting dead excited about him again.
Yeah.
Wanted him to come on the show.
Well, he will be. It's just a case of when. We've got the okay. We're just waiting for things to sort of fall into place.
I'd love to chat with Don. He's just so fascinating.
Yeah, incredible man. But just in case, I'll just say it anyway. If you are in America, February on PBS as part of their Black History Month of programming, Don Lewis and the Live Electric Orchestra is the name of the documentary. It's a new version, re-edited for TV. Some new footage has gone in there. I was speaking with Ned, the director, the other day, and he is working on the director's cut, which will, I guess, come out on Blu-ray and DVD at some point. But yeah, go and watch PBS in February. In America, it's national, so it's not just a regional thing, it's across the whole country. And give that film your support. It's brilliant. It's a really, really good film. So yeah, got that in there. Right, another thing that we must mention, because I promised her I would, and if I don't, she'll have me doodahs for what's its. And it is the fact that the Bob Moog Foundation Raffle has only got about... it ends August 31st. So it's just under a week now. So please, 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 if you haven't already, go and buy your tickets to win a restored vintage Minimoog Model D, signed by Billy Joel himself, used by, and his name has just popped right out of my head, David Rosenthal, who's used it with Rainbow,
wasn't it? Yeah,
Cyndi Lauper, Robert Palmer, all sorts.
I used to love that program.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, Rob, Jane, and Freddie backed by Minimoog.
That's
Absolutely,
it.
rock on.
Yeah.
Notice that this has this unique left panel, so it's got the touch strip rather than the two wheels. So it's a pretty unique instrument, or version of this instrument. A great instrument, of course. But the tickets are available now, and will be until August 31st. And I'll just give you the prices. So they're $25 each. You might think that's a bit expensive, but look, if you buy a couple of those and you win a Minimoog, your quid's in. Absolutely,
50 quid for the Minimoog.
Yeah. 5 tickets will cost you $100. So basically, you're getting one free, and so on and so forth. So 12 tickets is $200. So you're going to save a bit on that. Yes, as Kent knows. And $500 will get you 35 tickets in the raffle. All proceeds go back into the Bob Moog Foundation, which, along with the likes of the Alan R. Perlman Foundation, do amazing work in keeping those two gentlemen's work alive and well, and the history, and putting these machines into the hands of people today, and educating and all of that kind of stuff. You know that we love these organisations, and we try to support them as much as we can. So please, I am going to be bombarding everyone with this to remind them to get it, because if you get one of these, I enter every year. I never win, but at least I know that the money's gone somewhere good.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, it's not that... It is quite a considerable amount at $25, whatever. But when you consider what you're getting back, and then the consolation prize is, if you don't win anything, you've contributed to a really worthwhile cause.
To the organisation. Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's win-win, really.
Absolutely.
And if you do, I'll probably only be able to afford buy 1 or 2 tickets, but I will be buying them.
Yeah.
And if I won, it's like the biggest event of my life. And if I don't, well, I've donated 50 quid.
So if my maths is correct, you've got 5 days. 5 days to go and buy them. Now I've got paid today, so I'm going to go and buy my ticket. I'll probably buy another one. Get that. So Bob Moog, the summer 2022 raffle is ending in 5 days' time. Get in there, buy your tickets. Tell them we sent you.
How much do you think that would be worth,
Kent?
In terms of...
Well, with its heritage and also signed by Billy Joel.
Well, Kent's got something you can take that off with.
Yeah. I have chemicals.
Yeah.
Well, no, the thing is, I mean, if you were selling it to somebody who was a massive Billy Joel fan or whatever, then it's
Rainbow
the sky. Yeah.
I mean, I think they value it $10,000.
Yeah,
I think it's easy worth that.
it'd be dollars more than likely, but
of course, yes.
Yeah. Which is what it was $8,000 in real money. So, yeah, I mean, it's like it's got that unusual.
Yeah, it's got that thing on it.
Side modulation panel. It's not unique because I've seen others like that, but definitely with the foot pedal sockets put on the front in the wood. And that. But the strip that comes off of Moog.
So that's all like customization afterwards. It was never like a
there
weird
was a couple
option.
that did go out like that.
Right.
And that's probably one of the ones that went out in that form.
Wow.
But it's probably worth about 10, like you say.
Yeah.
Without any trouble. And they'll just go up in price anyway because it's vintage, antique.
Not bad for a 25 quid punt, that. If you
exactly.
get
Well, in
anywhere
5
near
years'
it,
time, you're still going to be quids in. If you were going to flog it on.
Yeah, definitely. So there you go. Bob Moog Foundation. Just go to the website and you will find the tickets there. And we'll be posting links on the Facebook page over the coming days, just to make sure everyone is still aware. Right, just a few little things to go. This is personally very interesting. I don't know about you guys, whether you got to watch it all, but the Sydney Herald newspaper, the Sydney Morning Herald, to give it its full name, commissioned a small video to be made about the history of, can you guess, the Fairlight CMI. And this was made by
kangaroo.
It was made by a guy who has an interest in them, and in my personal opinion, has made, given the time frame, which is about 18 minutes long, has made the most accurate potted history of the Fairlight CMI and the company that's ever graced YouTube. And there are some awful videos who I won't mention their names, mainly because when I try to politely correct them on a lot of the things they got wrong, they blocked me. They gave and then they had a hate-filled rant sent to me by them, blah, whatever. I was just politely trying to correct them, but this guy's got it right. And not only that, he's spoken to all those that were at the coalface. Actually, I'm going to stop that. I was going to play it. I've just realised it's got loads of music in there. We will get done. So hopefully that little bit of the art of noise won't get.
That was enough. That was
it. Yeah, that was probably enough.
We've had it, mate.
But so I will just manually click through. So this is Kim Ryrie today. He was one half of the team that came. That was Fairlight, of course. That's not Peter Vogel. That's Bach. Bach in a funny set of clothing. That's Peter Vogel. So they've interviewed that Peter Vogel, but of course this was the one that really I got excited about. I speak to this guy weekly, if not daily. My friend Peter Wilk, who I do a lot of my that's Peter Gabriel. There's so many Peters in the Fairlight story. That's Peter Wilk, Fairlight engineer, ex of Fairlight himself, and that's him in his little loft studio in Sydney with a Series 2 that he has restored, and it's gorgeous. And he's in there as well. And there's a very knowledgeable professor she's actually from the UK, but she's based out in one of the universities in Australia.
She doesn't know how to fix a keyboard, though, does she?
No, look at that. Some dodgy keys going on there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's a job. But
Smack it one, that'll free it up.
Yes. But it's a great video with lots of footage and history, and Peter talk. I've got that record, that exact record. That's where the Orc 2 stab, the famous orchestra stab, was sampled from by David Vorhaus when he was staying over with Peter. But it's a cracking documentary. It's only about 18 minutes long, but it's worth 20 minutes of anybody's tea break. So please do go and watch that. It's on the Age and Sydney Morning Herald YouTube channel. It's also on the Sydney Morning Herald's website, but you can go and watch that now. I did share that in the Facebook group. It's a brilliant little video. I thoroughly recommend it. Guys, did you get a chance to watch it?
Yes, I did. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right, this is. We're getting late on here, but it's probably not the time to mention this. But they said that the Fairlight changed the way that music was made forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I do agree with that. But they weren't the first to do it, were they?
To do
or
what?
were they? Like the sampling thing? Didn't the Synclavier do sampling or...
After.
Oh, was it after?
Yeah, the Synclavier started out as an FM synthesizer. They sub-licensed the FM technology from Yamaha, who are licensing it from Stanford.
Right.
But they added sampling after the Fairlight.
Right. Oh, so the Fairlight genuinely was the first thing to do it.
I've read things that have said that certain university laboratories had some form of digital sampling going. A lot of people say, oh, the Mellotron was a sampler. Well, technically,
I suppose it was, yeah, but not
sort
in the
of.
same
You-
way.
you
An
couldn't,
analog sampler.
but you couldn't plug it in and sample your own stuff into the Mellotron.
Yeah.
You had to get the guys at Streetly to make the tapes
And
if
couldn't
you wanted
mess-
custom stuff.
You couldn't mess with the waveform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be the most accurate description, it was the first commercially available digital sampler. And then that kind of
Oh, yeah.
gets
Well,
around all of that nonsense. But,
I
yeah.
agree entirely. Then it did change the face of music forever.
But this is what whenever I've done any of my talks and seminars, if you look back, if you look at, say, Pro Tools or Cubase or Logic and go backwards, the DNA is there. It's all there. The linear, left to right stuff, and of course sampling is just everywhere. We take sampling for granted so much these days. It really was ground zero.
Wow.
And it failed. They only lasted 10 years as a musical instrument, and then went off to do other things. But the history, the life of the Fairlight and the company was very short, very brief, but what an impact.
Massive.
Yeah. And Aussies are rightly proud of that, as they should be. It was a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, if you want to
Brilliant.
watch that, it's on YouTube. It's on the Sydney Morning Herald YouTube site, and also the Sydney Morning Herald website itself. And I've linked to it in the Facebook group. So go
It's a
and watch
great
it there.
watch, even if
It is.
you're not
And it's-
properly into the Fairlight.
It's a really well-made film as well.
Yeah, yeah.
High production value. Very, very good indeed. Really, really good. Thought I'd give that a plug. Also, I want to mention this because I'm stupidly excited about the delivery of my Sonicware SmplTrek.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is.
You'd ordered one? Yeah.
In all of its glory. It should be with us, I'm hoping, in a couple of months. The news is that they are progressing well with testing manufacturing. They're about 70% there with the software. But the news now is that they've managed to source enough parts and components to make 50 more than all of the ones that have been ordered by the backers. So if you missed out on this, you now have an opportunity to buy one of these at a price of $399.
Which is only 50 quid more than the Behringer Solina.
Exactly, and this does a shit ton more. Normal retail price is $429, but you can get it for $399, and the pre-order opens there's a counter there, in just under 7 hours time. So if you're in the UK, you've got a late night if you want one of these. But please do, if you want one of these, there's 50 extra. There's also news that came in just before we came on air that the European distributor for Sonicware will have about 25 of these available for pre-order. So the opportunity, if you missed out on the Kickstarter and you really want one of these, then you have a chance now, and it's great. I mean, I say it's great. I've not actually used one, but if everything that they promise is going to be,
it seems as though it's going to be great, doesn't it?
yeah, because it's that thing that we spoke about repeatedly about. I wish somebody would make a sampler that was like the Akai S6 and front panel. This kind of is that. So yeah, I was like straight onto this. So there you go. SmplTrek is available. 50 more of them. Go to sonicware.jp, and that's where you'll be able to pre-order that in about 7 hours' time.
Didn't Spock have one of them?
Yeah, yeah. Tricorder.
They've even got the right font for it as well.
Yeah.
They have.
Well, that was one of my
right.
posts. That was one of my posts on the group, the SmplTrek group. I put the tricorder bag on it and said, "Why don't you make one of these for that? Because it's perfect."
That's definitely a nod, isn't it?
Yeah, just walking around with your little tricorder bag on. You drag out your SmplTrek and start sampling doors.
Total
and
respect.
Who did we speak to that designed the font? The actual Star Trek font.
Who
was that? It's just popped back into my head. Didn't we speak to someone? Either they did it or that somebody they knew did the font.
Yeah, that's ringing a bell with me.
Yeah.
That.
Oh,
yeah, where'd that come from?
Oh,
was that Matey Boy last week?
was it David?
Yeah,
it might
was
have
it?
been. Yeah, it might have been. He was something like that. Oh, yeah.
I think
Honestly,
it was,
I don't remember what I did yesterday, let alone last week. So,
I know, yeah.
or this morning.
I can't remember the last thing I said.
What? Who are you?
What?
Hey,
What are we doing here?
what's going on?
So, SmplTrek, get your pre-orders in. If you missed it, you've got a small limited window. So do that. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to get mine.
Nice.
This is the last thing, and I've left this till last because I didn't want to embarrass myself. Arturia, have they snuck FX Collection 3 out, or did I just forget that they did this?
I thought I saw this in the show notes.
Yeah.
And I thought I already had this. So I thought, why is it on it?
Well, so did I. So I went to my Arturia service centre, and so according to this, there's some new stuff which is the distortion tube culture and the op amp 21, which I don't seem to recall. Fragments is now part of it, and Mellow-Fi, and I've got everything apart from those top two.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
I just thought I had a bit of a... Maybe I am having a senior moment. Oh, Sass has just said, look, this came out a while ago. I bought it. So Oh, wrong one.
Really?
Yeah.
But I just saw something come up. Maybe it's because I think they did one of those promo videos. They get some named, artist or producer, and maybe I thought I missed it. And this is like, this is my senior Swiss cheese brain.
Yeah.
So that's why I left it to
I'm
last.
kind of with you because I thought I had it, but then didn't say anything, presuming that I'd be wrong. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think I've missed this altogether.
The thing is, though,
I'm just looking at my Arturia downloader and it's going. No.
I was looking at it, and I've got
Kent Spong,
FX
you still
Collection
need to download V Collection 5.
Yeah. Dear Mr. Spong, we thought you were dead.
The thing is, I've got Fragments separately. I know that, and I also got Mellow-Fi separately because I think they gave that away free for a little while. So the only other two new things are Tube Culture and Op Amp 21, and I don't have those, and they're offering it to me to buy. So it must have come out, and I must have just forgotten about it. If Sass is saying that, he bought it a while back, Ben said, it's us. We're old people. We forgot. Okay.
Well, mate, let's face it. When you buy the Arturia collection, you can be forgiven because you have been awash of instruments. You're going, how many have we got? What are they called?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope they're all in one list.
Yeah.
Because it's just like whoosh, like this. It's like half a shop comes through the window. It's like I don't know.
Because what they also do is when they upgrade, because they'll release a couple of instruments in between V Collection versions, and they do the same with the FX. They release one or two effects individually, and then when they do the next version of the collections, they add those in. So if you've already got them, you're not. it's not so much of an impact. Oh, look, I've got this new stuff, because you've kind of already got it. Now it just comes under the umbrella. So that's why
announcing
I left it to last.
the FX3 collection on the show was a bit like going, they've invented aircraft with engines.
Kind
We're
of.
looking forward to it, isn't it? So like everybody going, where
I am going to go look back through the previous shows to see. We must have done it. It's been. This week has been an absolutely crazy week for me, with all sorts of things going on, work and this and family. I've had my son with his GCSE results. You had a busy day, didn't you, Ben?
Oh yeah, it was a nightmare.
Because you're working at school. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy day that day. And I've had an engineer 3 days this week fitting a new boiler. So I've been trying to do voiceover work for the day job. And of course, I start speaking, and then he goes, right.
Pass the spanner.
Yeah.
Well, it's chance of a brew, mate.
Actually, he's from up north. He's an old friend, actually. But
that's handy.
But you want to close the window, and you have to then turn the fan off, because that comes over on the mic and everything. Of course, it's warm still, and it's very frustrating. But anyway, that's it, folks. That's all the topics we had. We kind of ended on an embarrassing, Swiss cheese brain moment for me.
It's not too bad. But, at least you had me and Kent with you, who didn't have a clue.
Well,
So,
quite.
Yeah.
So
I had no. It's like,
yeah.
So that was episode 125. Like an intercity express train, it's been and gone.
Yeah.
Only the British people will get that one.
I like to.
Have you ever been on the 125?
I saw one once.
I had the Hornby version, the little one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
used to
lucky
have that.
bastard! I could.
Yeah.
I asked for that, and they go, "No, you're not having it. You see how much it is?"
Yeah, it just had an oval track. It was just you just had watch it going round and round.
And one coach, wasn't it? Was it one
And
coach?
I tried to measure it. It was nowhere near 125 mile an hour as well. Nowhere near.
Yeah.
I remember going on one once up the Great Eastern Line, up to Doncaster, I think it was, and York, because I was train spotting. I was young, okay, and we went on one, and the father of the friend that I went up with was very impressed by the fact that you could put a 50p coin on the table at 100 and something miles an hour, and it would just stand up straight. It was that smooth. But yeah, I used to love the 125s. I have been on the prototype.
Oh, really?
They bring it out. There's one preserved, and they bring it around some of the local, those small, privately run charity kind of lines. What
was the leaning train? What was that?
That was the what was it called?
That was the HST, wasn't it?
No, the HST was the 125. That was a high speed one.
But that
diesel engines.
Didn't it lean?
It wasn't a proper leaning mechanism like the what was it called? Advanced.
Passenger train.
Yeah.
APT. That's it.
APT.
The APT. And that was leaning, and that proper
leaning.
lean.
Yeah.
I've been on the Flying Scotsman.
Okay.
No, Drunk Scotsman. Sorry.
What was his name?
Oh, yeah, we've all been on him.
It was a piggyback race we had in an alleyway.
I went on a train in Norway. It went from Sweden, went from Gothenburg to Oslo,
and it was
and
on
it
time.
looked like Iron Man. Seriously, it looked like Iron Man.
Yeah, I know.
It did the whole tilting thing around the fjords. It was the best train journey, and one of the cheapest ones I've ever been on as well.
They know how to run a railway out there, mate.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It was bang on time, and it was efficient and beautiful scenery. Anyway, there we go. It is 9:15, so we better go. But thanks, first of all, of course, to our guest, Benge, who was on the show. If you missed that, if you joined us late, wait until it's finished. Go back and watch it. He's a fascinating guy. Really, really interesting. So massive, massive thanks to Benge for coming on the show. And a huge thanks to our very own Ben Simpson and Mr. Ken Spong. Thank you ever so much, gents, for your company once again. It's always a pleasure, never a chore. You gigging this weekend, Ben?
I am gigging twice.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I am on Saturday, but on Sunday,
not a problem.
I'm at Martin Beer Festival.
Are you playing in Widnes?
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 Don't think so.
Can I get a Widnes? It begins with W. There's lots of places that begin with W up there. I just saw you post something that Or maybe that was the last one. I don't know. Wigan,
Just
Widnes,
watched Witness.
Warrington. What? What's right?
Nearly everywhere up here begins with a W.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
What is that?
Wigan.
Wigan.
Oh, we are playing Wigan. We're playing the Old Courts in Wigan.
What, this weekend?
No, that's coming up soon. We're on it.
We'll get there.
Blackpool, Martin Beer Festival.
No W.
Okay.
Yeah. Big, massive marquee, stage, loads of ale.
Nice.
Hopefully there'll still be some left for the customers after we've finished.
Brilliant. Tickets available on the door?
I think so, yeah.
Cool.
If you can
Well, if
find
you're
the
in the
door.
Blackpool area, there you go.
Yeah.
Kent, what's your weekend consisting of?
There'll be lots and lots of things. I was thinking about opening the pub tonight and maybe tomorrow night as well, because I'm bored.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might not be able to join you tonight.
Don't know.
Well, it depends how late you go.
I'll just change into various clothes and people can sort of like rate it.
Anything interesting in the workshop at the moment?
No, I'm here. I'm trying to think. What is there? There's 2 CS80s. Thank you. I'm here all week trying to fish. There's 2 CS80s. There's RS505. Oh, there's Profit 5 Rev 2, but we don't talk about that. What else is there? A couple of minis. The usual fare. Yeah. All broken.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's your job.
Chocolate teapots, basically.
Indeed. What am I doing this weekend? I'm putting a new barbecue together. I got a new barbecue. I wasn't sure whether I'd get it in time for us to actually use it, but it turned up today. So I'm going to be putting that together and maybe using it at the weekend. Ben's gone again. I can't
Bye,
think
Ben.
what else. It's going to be a quiet one for a change. Oh, it's bank holiday, isn't it? So, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So
Are
we've
we
got
getting
Monday
Gran
off.
Turismo out?
Oh, yeah, we should do, shouldn't we?
But yeah, we should get Ty on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I did ask him about it this morning. He goes, oh yeah. He said, but I still have a lot of energy. He said, well, I'm not asking you to bloody run it. I'm asking you just drive them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because there's been an update, isn't there? Today, I think, or yesterday, it came through with they got a McLaren MP4 at Senna's one that's just come there.
To be honest with you, if I went downstairs now and turned my PlayStation, is it a 5 on, it would go, oh, you haven't died.
Yeah,
you are
I
still
must
here.
admit.
It's been a while since I turned her on.
I'm looking forward to my son going back to school in September. So I can get on it because the thing is, he's got a PS4. He won. You know those machines? You go to the arcades on the seaside.
Yeah.
And you, it's kind of like the grab machine, which you never win.
Yeah.
Well, this one was you had to pick a shape and then move it. You get one move on the x-axis and one move on the y-axis, and you've got to get the shape in its corresponding hole. And if you get it in the hole, whatever that shape corresponds to on the back wall will drop off, and you win that prize. And he only went and won a PS4 on one of those machines.
Me?
No, I kid you not. He actually won it. He put like a couple of quid in, and he didn't win. And he said, "Dad, please, I've one more pound. I know what I'm going to do. I know how to do it now. Give me a pound. Give me a pound." I said, "All right, I'll give you a pound, and if you win this, I'll give you my PSVR headset." Because I was that certain it would not happen. And he puts his pound coin in, and he goes, zzz, zzz, boom, PS4 falls off the back wall.
Yeah. Mic drop.
Yeah, and the first thing he said to me, he says, "You owe me a PSVR." I said, No. I called.
I was
foul.
lying.
Yeah. So, but anyway, he has that PS4 in his bedroom, yet he still insists on coming down and playing on my PS5.
Yeah, well, he would.
So I don't get a bloody look in.
I see.
I had to go one of those Oculus things the other day.
Oh yeah,
I've never. It was amazing.
You liked it,
I've never seen anything like that in my life. I've seen the old virtual reality helmet things, where they're about this big, the orange ones, and the big wires coming off them and everything. and it didn't look very good. Like when you saw screenshots of it, it was really crap. So I was expecting something like that, obviously a bit better because a lot of time's passed. But with the reduced size and that, I thought it was going to be similar experience. Yeah. It was like total immersion.
Oh,
I was there.
I was on the idea of getting one as well, yeah.
I was on the ISS at one point, and I literally felt like I was floating around. It was dead weird.
No,
I nearly fell over.
I bought the PSVR a couple of years ago, I think. I bought it sort of like as a family Christmas thing. And yeah, I mean, it's not as good as some of the VR headsets that are out there, but it is. Once you're in that zone, and if you've got a decent game that uses it well, it's very good. And
I was very surprised.
There are some experiences. You know, there's one I think where you can fly around various wonders of the world, and it's just great. You just look around. It's just like being there. It's quite disorientating.
Well, I was thinking about getting it because that's the only way I'm ever going to get a bloody holiday.
Yeah.
I know really do.
I don't know if you
they
get
do one where you can just. Yeah. Well, I could sit under a sun lamp and just,
You know,
and they go, "Oh, look at that!" Right, I'll turn over now. Yeah.
Not been anywhere. Not been anywhere.
Yeah,
the lovely tan.
Funny, I went back to that arcade that my son won that PS4 from, and they've actually got arcade machines now that are you all sit in this thing with these headsets on, and it's like a VR arcade game. I'm thinking that's a COVID hotspot right there.
Yeah,
but no, the new the PSVR 2 or PS whatever it is, the new one's coming out early next year, so I'm going to start saving for that, because then I will give him my old VR headset. There you go. But he'll then want to use the new one, won't he? Because
that's how it works.
So let's sort something out. Yeah, let's sort something out, and we'll do that. Anyway, we've kind of gone off on a tangent. Even I hope our
just slightly.
Our audience is sticking with us, so that's good.
They've got nowhere else to go. Bless them.
True. Don't forget, Rands is on 1 p.m. tomorrow. There's no Mr. Wiggly show on Sunday. And I can't remember. I know Jamie's doing EMOM tonight in Blackpool, which I believe is streaming live as we speak. But I don't know whether he's doing a show on Sunday as well. But yeah, don't forget those guys. Go along and support them, and give them as much enthusiasm and passion as you give us, because we love it. And gentlemen, it's been fantastic seeing you as always. We'll speak to you very soon. Indeed. To everybody in the chat room, thank you ever so much for your patronage as always. Thank you again to Benge for joining us. It was a super interview, and looking forward to that. Next week, Paulie Alex Bow. Week after that, Jem Godfrey. Week after that, Dan Goldstein and Mitchell Sigmund from Cherry Audio. Week after that, Ben's got a gig, so we'll probably just bum around for a little bit. September 30th, Bob Coover from Groove Synthesis. And then we're into October, which is SynthFest and that. And so, lots to come. So do stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. And we will see you here same time, same place next week.
Absolutely.
Ta-ra. Bye.